Hello buddy, it's Eric again. I'm doing a review on some firearms I enjoy shooting, and this week I'm going to review my first rifle and my favorite rifle ever, my Marlin Model 980 stainless. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to run a safety check on this rifle so you can see it's unloaded and no one's going to get shot while I do the review. And with that out of the way, we're going to get on to the review. The Marlin 980S. Now this rifle is known under a couple different names now that Remington bought out Marlin. This is a true Marlin, which means this was built by Marlin Arms in New Haven, Connecticut when they owned their own factory. A couple years ago, Marlin went completely bankrupt. I think it was around 2011. And they sold all their designs to Remington, who now produces this under a Marlin label under the title XT22 if you're interested in buying one. But when I received this rifle, they were being called the Marlin 980S, which stands for stainless. And there'd be the 980B, which was blued, and there'd be another version of the 980 that had a wood stock instead of a composite stock. Most of these options remain even with the Remington-produced Marlins. It's a bolt-action rifle, which means that in order to load it, you have to load this magazine and then work the bolt to chamber around. And, you know, after you've fired a bullet and you want to put the next round in, you have to pull the bolt back like that and then slam it forward and secure it to put the next round in to be ready to fire. This gun's pretty basic as far as features: bolt, mag release, trigger, all pretty easy to use. And then it's got a safety here to lock the trigger when, you know, the round is chambered and it's not been fired. And then you just flick it forward to take it off safe, and that's how it works. Now, it has pretty rudimentary sight. It has a flip-down rear sight, and you do this that way so you can protect the measurements when not in use, and when you're ready to fire, you flick it up like that, and the rear sight's ready to use. And then it has a blaze orange front sight, which makes it easier to use at night. And the sight can be pushed back and forth to adjust for windage. Overall, I really love this rifle. I mean, it was my first rifle. This was the first gun I ever shot. I was 12 years old when I first shot it. So, and I still fire it to this day. I take it out pretty much once a week and fire this rifle at paper targets or soda cans, or 22 is very fun to use in that regards. A question I get asked personally a lot by other people is, I've never fired a gun before, I'm interested in learning, I'm interested in getting involved in the shooting sports, what should be my first gun? And I would answer, I'll show them this rifle and say a gun much like this. Now, it doesn't necessarily have to be a Marlin, it can be a Stevens or a Savage, or there's numerous other makers that make really good rifles that are 22 caliber bolt action. But I personally like this Marlin, and there's some sentimental value attached to it, because like I said, this is my first gun. In addition to using this for target practice, I've also used this to kill raccoons that were threatening livestock, and it's pretty handy at that too. The rifle itself is lightweight. It's about, I think it's not even 5 pounds, which is expected because it's a small rifle. And the design is pretty good, and it's very reliable. I've never had a jam or any misfeeds or anything like that on this, but then again, it's a bolt action, so that's pretty much expected. So that's pretty much going to be the conclusion of the review. I don't need 50 minutes to review a $200 rifle. Only to say that this is a very nice rifle if you are getting a gun as a present for a child, or if you're yourself thinking about learning how to shoot. This is a nice inexpensive rifle that you can't go wrong with. And that concludes my review of the outstanding Marlin 980 stainless, also known as the XT22 if you want to buy it today.